The New Jersey Devils make multiple moves and updates, including Dougie Hamilton, Paul Cotter, and the season that he has been having, Luke Hughes, defenseman, see if he'll be in the lineup against Minnesota or not. And of course, we have to chat about that Nico Hischier hat trick. I'm Ryan the Goose Gasker here with you on Devils Digest. All of these have serious implications on the Devils season and where they want to go, including potentially, dare I whisper it, the postseason. Devils inching closer and closer to that. They now have a magic number to clinch a playoff berth. So let's break it all down for you. But first, I want you to be one of the first subscribers here on Devils Digest. Go ahead, hit that subscribe button, and we'll get right into the show. Now, as we mentioned, the Devils have a matchup tonight against the Minnesota Wild. We'll break down all who's in, who's out, who's starting in net. We'll get to all of that. But I want to start this video by talking about the Devils' inconsistency and how it really has started to tick me off a little bit and kind of, it's aggravating, right? I mean, just look at this stat right here. The Devils, since January 19th, you're talking about a sample size of over 2 months, nearly 2.5 months. Loss, win, win, loss, win, loss, win, loss, win, loss, win. I mean, they have one streak of 3 games there with wins, a 2-game win streak in there, a 3-game losing, 2 3-game losing streaks, okay? But look at the stats at the bottom. 70% of their losses have been followed up by wins, but 77% of their wins have been followed up by losses. Now, why do I bring this up? Because the Devils are playing tonight. They beat Minnesota in Minnesota on Saturday night. So what does that tell you? Well, there's a 77% chance the Devils lose tonight. So you would love to think that it would be the other way around and that the Devils, since they beat Minnesota on the road, would be the heavy favorites tonight at home. But certainly the numbers don't lie as of late. So we'll see if the Devils can put 2 wins together, again, consistently over the same team. But we'll see what the Devils also decide to do, in net and who's going to be in the lineup. We'll talk a little bit about that in a little bit. But I do just want to give a shout out before we get into some of that stuff, is a shout out to Paul Cotter, because I found this stat the other day, and thank you to Trey Matthews for providing this, is that Paul Cotter recently broke Blake Coleman's 2018-2019 Devils record for most hits in a season. And that's something last year when you sat here, I mean, guys were probably at half of that. Devils leaderboard was probably at half of that number. And now they're breaking the franchise record. Paul Cotter, I have said this forever. If you are a fourth-line player, you need to find out what you're really, really good at and do that a lot and consistently. Paul Cotter has done that. He's brought that hitting to New Jersey's fourth line. Yes, he has some of the goal scoring aspect and the fancy stick moves and stuff like that. Sure. And he's working on that, continuing to develop that. But what he does very well is finish checks when he's out there on the ice. And certainly this number backs that up. Congratulations to Paul Cotter, now holding the Devils record for most hits in a season, breaking Blake Coleman's record. Obviously, we miss Blake Coleman a little bit here, but certainly the Devils record now, Paul Cotter now has a few more games to continue to add on to that record. Now, getting into tonight a little bit, we've got to talk about Nico Hischier. We'll get to Luke Hughes in a second. Nico Hischier, his hat trick against Minnesota on Saturday. It's something that I've been talking about, right? What do I say? The Devils need contribution from the bottom 6, and they need their stars to continue to be stars. Well, I think getting a hat trick, it would be considered being a star, okay? So Nico Hischier providing exactly what the Devils need. I believe they scored 29 seconds into that game against the Wild on the road. A night after they got their rear ends kicked by Winnipeg, just absolutely blitzed. And we did a preview of that, and we said that Brenden Dillon told everybody, hey, you got to be at 0-0 at least 5 minutes in to at least have a chance to win a game there. The Devils were down 2-0 less than 2 minutes into that game. So going into Saturday against Minnesota, needing a rebound, who was there? None other than Captain Nico Hischier. He had a hat trick in this game. Just a great all-around game. And again, your leaders need to step up and be leaders and producers when guys like Jack Hughes, Dougie Hamilton, and Jonas Siegenthaler are no longer on the ice. Now, as far as tonight, Luke Hughes is expected to play. I know he's been battling this groin injury. He did play Saturday against Minnesota. He was out against Winnipeg. So that's why it's just a situation to continue to monitor. I believe they said it was a groin issue. Okay, but Luke Hughes, despite taking the morning off, will play tonight against Minnesota. And I believe Sheldon Keefe also announced that Jacob Markstrom will start tonight in net. And if he didn't announce it officially, then he was in the starter's net during practice, during morning skate today. So the Devils in with Luke Hughes, in with Jacob Markstrom being their starter tonight. Now, this is something I wanted to save, for this point in the video, was this tweet I saw come across my timeline this morning, and I thought it was very, very interesting. And you saw Dougie at the beginning in that intro video. He has started to skate over the past few days, which, we don't know, right? And we've been told he's likely going to miss the rest of the regular season, but or he's been ruled out for the rest of the regular season, but could this be a ramp up for a potential return in the first round? Who knows? But I know that when guys, if they're not relatively close, if they have no chance to come back in the season, they don't start skating again. So that's a great sign for New Jersey, is that Dougie Hamilton has started skating over the last few days. He's progressing, right? That's important. Cody Glass also skated for the first time this morning. He had a lower body injury as well. So would be huge to get a guy like Glass back in the lineup. He's been kind of creating ever since he got here, just in terms of, and he's not a point per game guy anymore, but maybe a point every other game, something like that. He's been playing well, continuing to generate some of those opportunities, so it'd be nice to get him back. And obviously, if Dougie starts progressing, I'd love to see him game one against what would potentially and more likely be Carolina in the first round if the Devils make the playoffs. I believe their playoff odds are up over 99% at this point. So Devils need to find their way in, and I think if they find their way in based on this tweet right here, they certainly, I'm not a doctor, but I'm going to tell you, I expect Dougie Hamilton back if the Devils are to make it to the postseason based on this. If he had no chance to return and no eyes set for that first round, why would he be skating? He wouldn't. And they certainly wouldn't be letting him skate where the media can find out. So that's just something to consider. Again, I just want to take a look at some of the stats here. Again, for some important guys and guys that we've talked about, Paul Cotter here on the season, just doing an excellent job. That's a career high in goals, by the way. He set that a while ago. And as I mentioned, the 231 hits so far. Luke Hughes, again, over 30 assists on the season. He's looking at over a 40-point season again. He's been excellent, okay, and a lot has been made of what he has done this year, and rightfully so. And he's going to get a massive contract this offseason, and the way he's playing, it certainly seems like it's deserved. So Luke Hughes continuing to do a great job, and the last one I got for you is just the captain. He's done such an excellent job. You look at that, 33 goals, 29 assists. Guy's going to be 30-30, and potentially, who knows, if he wants to continue scoring a hat trick per game, maybe he reaches that 40-point plateau, or 40-goal plateau, because he deserves it. He deserves it, and he would have gotten there had he not gotten hurt earlier this season. So the Devils are in a good spot right now. As I mentioned, the playoff odds over 99%, and everybody behind them kind of seems like they really don't want to go to the postseason. Maybe they found a couple golf courses that they like better than Carolina for game one, but the Devils need to continue to play well. They need to dominate tonight against Minnesota. They need a good team effort. Again, I've mentioned this on a few videos. They have to play better at home. They are a terrible home team. They have to play better. I will be there tonight, actually, with another job that I have. We're doing a group outing. There should be about 30 of us up in Section 109 tonight, switching from Section 132. So be on the lookout if you're going to the game. Enjoy the game, okay? Be safe. I know there's thunderstorms, severe ones coming later tonight, so be safe, be careful, okay? And if you're watching at home, expect a big night, hopefully, from Nico Hischier. Again, I'm not saying I expect a hat trick, but I expect him to be heavily involved. And Jesper Bratt potentially get on the board tonight. I like him to get a point. And who knows? In the bottom six, it's always tough, right? But I think Haula is either going to get a goal or an assist tonight. So that's where I'll go out on a limb with that. So enjoy the game wherever you are, watching at home, at the game, doesn't matter. Enjoy it. Have a blast. The Devils are marching on, continuing to push for the postseason. They can clinch, I believe, as early as Saturday coming up. Let's see what they can do. Let's have some fun, and let's get the Devils back in the postseason, baby. Let's go. Get fired up, Devils Digest. Let's go. Let's have some fun. Enjoy the game tonight. Again, be one of our first subscribers here. Go ahead, hit that subscribe button for me. Be one of our first subscribers. And you know what? Leave me a comment. What do you think about the channel? What do you think about the Devils' playoff chances? Can they create some noise in round one? I'll leave you to answer that question for me, as I'll obviously have an opinion on it later. But give us your take and leave us some feedback in the comment section. So everybody have a great day. And again, we'll catch you next time on Devils Digest.